Good morning, myself. I'm R. Akshaya. I'm from CSIT branch. Today, my Tech Talk AAT concept subject is operating system, and the topic is user operating system interface. Introduction. What is user interface? The user interface UI is the point of human-computer interaction and communication in a device. This can include display, screens, keyboards, a mouse, and the appearance of a desktop. It is also the way through which a user interacts with an application or a website. The growing dependence of many business on web applications and the mobile applications has led many companies to place increased priority on UI, that is user interface, in an effort to improve the user's overall experience. History of user interface. In early computers, there was very little user interface except for a few buttons at an operator's console. Many of these early computers used punched cards, prepared using key punch machines as a primary method of input for computer programs and data. While punched cards have been essentially obsolete in computing since 2012, some voting machines still use a punched card system. The user interface evolved with the introduction of the command line interface, which first appeared as a nearly blank display screen with a line for user input. Users relied on a keyboard and a set of commands to navigate exchanges of information with the computer. This command line interface led to one in which menus, that is lists of choice written in text, that is predominator. Finally, the GUI arrived, that is graphical user interface, originating mainly in Xerox Palo Alto Research Center, that is PARC abbreviated, adopted and enhanced by Apple and effectively standardized by Microsoft in its Windows operating systems. Types of user interfaces, that is UI. The various types of user interfaces include that are listed below. Graphical user interface, that is GUI, command line interface, that is CLI, menu-driven user interface, and touch user interface, voice user interface, that is VUI, form-based user interface, and last but not the least, natural language user interface. Examples of user interface. Some examples of user interfaces include computer mouse, remote control, virtual reality, ATMs, speedometer, the old iPod click wheel. Websites such as Airbnb, Dropbox, and Virgin America display strong user interface design. Sites like these have created pleasant, easily operable, and user-centered designs UCD that focus on the user and their needs. Operating system. An operating system OS is an interface between a computer user and the computer hardware. An operating system is a software which performs all the basic tasks like file management, memory management, process management, handling input and output, and controlling peripheral devices such as disk drives and printers. Some popular operating systems include Linux operating system, Windows operating system, VMS OS /400, AIX, Z/OS, etc. An operating system is a program that acts as an interface between the user and the computer hardware and controls the execution of all kinds of programs. Here we can see the picture that is a diagram, how the hardware, software, and the users are interacted. At first, there are many users are interacted with the software of the system. And in software, we have system softwares and application softwares, which are connected to the OS, that is operating systems of the software of the any application, and in which the software, the operating system, is connected to the hardware of the system. And in hardware, we have several components such as CPU, RAM, and I/O. In this way, all the users, software, and hardware of an application or a device are connected. Following are some important functions of an operating system, and they are followed by memory management, process management, device management, file management, security, control over system performance, job accounting, error detecting aids, coordination between other software and users. User operating system interface. There are two fundamental approaches for users to interface with the operating system, that is OS. Provide a command line interface CLI or command interpreter that allows users to directly enter commands that are to be performed by the operating system. Second is the allows the user to interface with the operating system via a graphical user interface GUI. Command line interpreter, as the first point notices, what is a command interpreter? Some operating systems include the command interpreter in the kernel. Others, such as Windows XP and Unix, treat the command interpreters as a special program. On systems with multiple command interpreters to choose from, the interpreters are known as shells. Example, Bonnie shell, C shell, Bonnie again shell, that is BASH bash, and corn shell, and some etc. Command line interface. The command line interface is an interface whenever the user needs to have different commands regarding the input and the output, and then a task is performed. So this is called the command line argument. And it is used to execute the output and create, delete, print, copy, paste, etc. and some of the other commands that are to be performed. All these operations are performed with the help of command line interface. So the operations such as create, delete, print, copy, paste of such a text are performed with the help of this command line interface. The interface is always connected to the OS, that is operating system, so that the command given by the user directly works by the OS, and a number of operations can be performed with the help of the command line interface. Because multiple commands can be interpreted at the same time and execute only one. So we have a condition so called multiple commands can be interpreted at the same time, that is transferred from one to another, that is system to software, but executes only one at a time. The command line interface is necessary because all the basic operations in the computer are performed with the help of the OS, that is operating system, and it is responsible for memory management. By using this, we can divide the memory and we can use the memory. Command line interface advantages: controls OS or application, faster management, ability to store scripts, which helps in automating regular tasks, troubleshoot network connection issues. As there are some advantages, there are some disadvantages of command line interfaces also. So the command line interface, the disadvantages are as follows. The steeper learning curve is associated with memorizing commands and a complex syntax. Different commands are used in different shells. So here we can see a command prompt where it shows the examples of the command line interpreter. We have bytes, files, and directories, and some 64 to 61, 156, 864 bytes of free. This is an example of command line interface. Graphical user interface. The graphical user interface is used for playing games, watching videos, etc. These are done with the help of the GUI, that is graphical user interface, because all these applications require graphics. So we can simply say that graphics which are required in some applications are performed with the help of the graphical user interface. The GUI is one of the necessary interfaces because only by using the user can clearly see the picture and play videos. So we need GUI, that is graphical user interface, for computers, and this can be done by only with the help of an operating system. When a task is performed in the computer, then the OS takes the task and defines the interface which is necessary for the task. So we need GUI in the OS. Definitely we need a GUI in the OS for video games and playing games, etc. The basic components of GUIs are start menu with program groups, taskbar with showing running programs, desktop screen, different icons and shortcuts, and we have a choice of interface, which describes the interface that is used with the help of the operating system for a particular task, and that task can be performed with the minimum possible time, and the output is shown on the screen. In that case, we use the choice of interface. The choice of interface means the OS checks the task and finds out which interface can be suitable for a particular task. So that type of interface is called as choice of interface, and this can be done with the help of the operating system. Here we can say an example for the graphical user interface, where we can see a start menu of a system or a laptop. Here we can see a different icons such as mail, calendar and date, and internet access. and some cloud computing and camera, music, some Excel sheets like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, and we also have some games and Google Chrome, and we have a Tetro, that is a communication network, and videos. So this is how a graphical user interface, that is all the graphical applications are to be performed using a graphical user interface. At last, we have a diagram where it shows how all the user to hardware, how it is connected. So first, a user is connected to a graphical interface, which is connected to a display server, which is also connected to a kernel, and then to the hardware of a system. So for the graphical interface, the examples are as KDE Plasma, Aqua, Genome, SHDI. And the interface between a graphical interface and display server, we have some another examples, that is X11, VLAN, WATS. The examples or window manager of a display server are Awesome, Comp, and OpenBox. And we also have some other examples such as Augur Server, Western, KWH, Martok Quartz, Compositor, and Surface FBurger. Kernel. The examples of kernel are Linux kernel, FreeBSD kernel, and XNU kernel, and which is connected to as hardware of the system. Thank you.